Back at it, pressure washing the floor, getting that done. I talked to the machine shop, my head's done, so I'm about to run over there. It's going on 3 o'clock, he closes at 4. I asked him if I could just come by tomorrow and pick him up on the way in to the shop or whatever, but he's gonna be closed tomorrow and the rest of the week for a doctor's appointment. My machinist has been having some back issues, he had surgery and some other stuff, but so I'm gonna shut the shop down today, run and get them. I ordered just some factory replacement head bolts from AutoZone. That's plenty good enough. I'll get those dudes tomorrow evening, I think, and we'll get this head on, get this car done, and be rocking with the D-Series single cam, and hopefully this thing will be ready to send down the road, or at least run and drive. We'll go from there. So we should be all right. Maybe, what is today? Today is Wednesday. So we should, by the weekend, this thing should be knocked out. Should have my son's my son's IS300 in here. Knock that transmission out. Go ahead and prep the other transmission. Wait on the parts to come in for that. Somewhere in the course of this, get the clutch ordered for the CD conversion to the IS300. And hopefully at some point the mounts and brackets and stuff will come in for this, and we'll get that squared away. So yeah, making headway all the time. But all right, I'm gonna run the machine shop, get that head. I may or may not be back here today, I don't know, but I've got the 2J non-VVTi bottom end, the one that I was gonna just use, the one that didn't get rebuilt, the one that didn't get rebuilt, and I'm gonna take it home, and I may go ahead and start disassembly on that and just be in the motions of rebuilding that motor. I took the head's gonna go to my house, so everything else is going to storage except for that bottom end and that head, and that whole ordeal will be if I want to continue on a motor for something else or my son's car, and we'll have that at my house so I can put my hands on it and work on that versus its storage and having to hunt everything and do all that. So let's go get this head, and then I don't know where we'll end up, but all right, here we go. All right, so another day of tinkering around the shop trying to get everything done. I got this thing, got the head on it, got the head gasket changed out, which a few days ago I pulled the head off, took it to the machine shop, and went and picked it up yesterday, and then come yesterday evening, set it on, started tinkering with it, and today I finished putting the timing and everything else on it. Got it running, runs like a top. The axle, when I first got it, the axle stub was pulled out on the driver's side. So tomorrow I gotta make sure and top off the gear oil on this thing. And then I'm ready to load it up, take it to the house to store it. So that leaves this bad boy, putting the cross member and the mount, and figuring out the mount situation, get the motor locked in. I may try to put the starter in it, so that's in it. And I got a hood. Me and my son went and picked up a hood. It's not perfect. It's got some rust spots, and which I'm not worried about none of that. I just need something to cover this with, just to keep the rain off of it and all that mess. But there's these cross pieces that go here. None of that's on. There's underneath pieces that go here. All that's sitting behind the car. I may try to paint that. I've got 2 weeks left. So between this hauling tomorrow, still waiting on the parts for that so I can tinker with those pieces that go up front and all that. Finished cleaning the floors on the shop. I didn't clean any more than what I had the other day. But finished cleaning all that stuff and tinker with this until I get those parts, and hopefully get my son's IS300 in here and get that transmission dropped and get those parts for that CD swap to go in this thing. Get those in before we close. If not, we just have to take this home or take the IS300 home and put it together on the ground gotta do what we gotta do though. But calling it a day. I've been going at it, trying to get this thing straightened out. Had a water leak. The auto air control valve had a little slit in one of the lines, so I had to pull it off, cut it, re-hook it, let it cool off first. And I run it for a while, cranks up every time. Idle's good, it's about out of fuel. Overall, car runs good, sounds good. I thought I was a tooth off on the timing. Runs too good to be off. So I rechecked it, looks right. Yeah, it's getting closer and closer, and it's starting to really set in that it'll be much longer, and this will be the end of this establishment. And what I am going to do, I've decided, I've been going at this every day for 2 months almost, 14 days shy of 2 months. I'm going to take a week off. I'm just going to chill around the house, kind of regain my thoughts, do a little debating on what I'm going to pay off. I think I've got it figured out. So October and November. In October, I pay off 2 rentals. And so if I don't, so come November, that money that I don't have to send out on those 2 rentals, plus what money I don't send out for the shop and the utilities for the shop, I've got another rental in November. I'll have enough to pay it off. So that'll be 3 rentals that I'll pay off by November, hopefully, if everything goes right. And so all that money lives in my pocket now. So maybe we can get my rollback fixed, hopefully get back to some tracks, go do some driving or something, and fix some rentals and maybe try to make some more money. But that's what we're going to be working on in between till I figure out what we're doing with the drifting thing or a shop. But for now, I'm going to knock those rentals out, finish these cars, and take me a little break, and then maybe work on the rentals to keep me busy until I figure out what I'm doing. But yeah, that's where we're at. So all right, here we go. All right, so it's the end of the day. Pressure washed the second bay all the way out. It's clean as I'm gonna get it. So I come in this morning, and I had been running the Civic yesterday. Run great, full with the throttle cable. I think there's an issue with the throttle cable. Every time you move it, it idles up or down, or maybe it's the throttle body. I don't know. I think it's actually the throttle cable. It's like 9 miles too long. Anyway, so I come in this morning, put gear oil in the transmission. I had to top it off from where, yeah, my hair's all sweaty. And so I had to top it off with gear oil in the transmission or whatever. Motor oil, I think that's what I used. And did that, got it off the lift. It was running great yesterday. So I went to cranking it this morning, and it would crank over, but it wouldn't fire. And it cranked and cranked and cranked. Got fuel, got fire. Well, when I cracked the fuel rail to let the fuel out, the smell of bad gas. So this car decides it's got bad gas in it today, and it don't want to run. So I had to pump all the gas out, and it was bad. It was horrible. It didn't even smell like gas. If you've ever smelled bad gas, that's what it smelled like, but it didn't have like a gasoline smell whatsoever. So I had to go get 5 gallons of gas after I drained all that, pumped all that out, and I put that 5 gallon in, pulled the injectors, cleaned all the filters on all of them, put them all back in, and finally got it to crank, checked the plugs and all that, and almost fouled the plugs out. So I cranked that thing. So I followed it for an hour, 2 hours this morning. I'd say at least 2 hours. It took me to get all that done. And so got it running, sounds good. Finally fooled with the throttle cable enough to where it sounds okay, and you can throttle it up and down to, you know, without it just, every time you hit the gas, when it idles down, it's in a different position. So it's aggravating. Anyway, so I got it off the lift, got it cranked, hit the clutch to put it in gear, and the clutch has bled back down from where we had actually bled it, so all the pressure's gone. So now it won't go in gear and it won't back up, and finally get it jammed into gear, and I'm hanging halfway out the bay, pull it back up in here. So either the master or the slave cylinder is bad. So I'm gonna have my son come with me tomorrow. We're gonna bleed this thing, put it on the trailer. I'm taking it home. I'll work on all that stuff later. The parts for my son's CD009 conversion, I talked to those guys today. We've been hung up on the lift on that. The IS300, we haven't really been hung on the lift because I had that going on. So I've still got 2 weeks so I can get his IS300 in here tomorrow. We'll probably bring it, get it on the lift. Tomorrow's Saturday or so, and maybe Monday I'll start take his transmission out, get it all cleaned up, the engine or the transmission side, take the clutch kit off, clean all that clutch kit up because it's brand new. It's like a Fidanza flywheel on a spec stage 3 or 3 plus. I think it's 3 plus, and I think Art wants it for the SC300 that I ended up trading him, and he manual swapped it, so he's probably going to do that. And once we get that out, cleaned up, we'll be ready, cut the bell housing off the CD trans, and we'll literally be waiting for that kit to show up, and the clutch, we'll order it probably tomorrow or something. So we'll be waiting on all that stuff to show up. As soon as it gets here, we get it all in, and we get a measurement, get the drive shaft ordered, and get all that on the way. So we got 14 days, 13, 16, 4, I think maybe 16 days. 16 days, I think it's 14th, 15th. I don't know. 15 days, 14 days, something, 16, I don't know at this point. But we may have time to get that done. So the Civic will be gone, and I think they're sending the cross member and that mount with the other stuff they have. The shifter and the ARP bolts, I think, are shipping out Monday. So I will order clutch kit, or an actual clutch and pressure plate and throwout band. I think it's the only thing we have to order. Yeah, I think it comes with the flywheel and everything on that adapter kit for the CD trans. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I've been fighting this car. I smell fuel, and it's the, what do you call it, lacquer center or something. It smells, it's horrible. It's a horrible smell. It's all in the engine bay where I cracked that open, and I had to fish all that stuff out, pump it into a bucket, and yeah, it's been horrible smelling this stuff all day. But I got the pressure washer out, got the second bay. When I move that out tomorrow, we'll probably put the IS300 or wait and pressure wash all that, move the stuff this way. And then once we get all that stuff moved, pressure wash that third bay, get the IS300 in there, and we're pretty close to, all I gotta do is go wide open into the cars here, because I can't do anything, I would say at least till Monday before that gets here. So try to get the clutch ordered. Hopefully it'll be here Monday, Tuesday. The ARP bolts, we can't install anything until we get those. So first of the week here, we should be able to tile the CD stuff into the IS300 enough to get a measurement on our drive shaft. Hopefully you just slap the S13 done, get that mount bracket figured out, and get that locked in. And there's a few parts on there I need to paint and put in, but if I don't do that before I get out of here, that's fine. I can always do that stuff at the house, jack the front end up, and most of that stuff goes underneath or on the front, and the headlights and whatnot. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. I know this content is just wrapping up the shop. This is what I've got. I've been here every single day since I got word that, well, almost every day I had to collect some rent and go to the bar and collect at the bar, and might have took one day off in this month, in these 2 months. But other than that, I've been here every day, and you can see the sun's going down or going down. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and maybe once we get this wrapped up, we'll get some different content. Hopefully we can get his car done in time to go to the drift track on the 7th of next month. We're going to Chill Highway. I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to do. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. I know it's boring. I know there's no car content as far as turning wrenches or any kind of how-to information or any of that, but it is what it is. This is my vlogging of what I'm dealing with, and that's where I'm at. So hang in there. We may have a little more free time. Might do some little bit of driving, getting out and getting some footage of being out and about and that kind of thing. Some donuts and see what these cars are doing once we get them tuned, and instead of just sitting here working on stuff, actually get out and make some smoke out of the tires on some of these. Take a ride to Mexico and that type of thing. But all right, anybody that's hanging in there, if you're a new guy, check out some of our other stuff too. This stuff's kind of slow going right now, but like I say, it is what it is. This is what I'm doing. This is, it's just me all the time, so I don't have any help doing any of this, so I've got to do all I can do while I can do it. But either way, all right, here we go.
I'm feeling high.